Hi, welcome to this moderate intensity yoga class where we're going to find our challenge, but we're going to take our time to get there. Hi, welcome to Wealthy Boss. My name is Mariah, and I'd love if you give this channel a subscribe if you like free yoga, Pilates, bar, strength, and meditation videos, because I do bring those out on the regular. We're just going to be using a mat today. Please listen to your body and just do what feels good to you and honor the path that you're on today. We are going to begin on our mat, coming down onto the floor, taking our cat-cow position. So we start with a nice wide all fours position, taking the fingers apart. You can shut down the eyes if you like. Tops of the feet are on the mat. Starting to breathe in through the nose as you feel the ribs expand around you. A little bit more. And then exhale. Breathing out through the nose, feeling the belly button lift towards the spine. And we'll do that again at your own pace. Filling the lungs with air. And ready, exhaling through the nose. Feeling the belly button rise as though it's taking a journey up an elevator. One floor, maybe 2 floors. Perfect. You can let the eyes open as you start to take some circles around the wrists. So we feel that in the hips, we feel that in the shoulders. They can be big circles, they can be small circles. I'm exploring how the body feels today. Maybe they get a little bit bigger as you go. And when you're ready, reverse directions. Making sure we're still finding those deep breaths in and out through the nose. Feels good to get into the side body right away. Side of the hips, the side of the waist. Perfect. Let's find our neutral spine. Send the hips back into a child's pose so the hips come towards the heels. Pause for a breath there. Inhale. And on your exhale, let's roll forward. We're going to heel open as we drop the thighs onto the mat. Now notice if you're sinking into your shoulders here, press the ground away from you. And as you do that, you'll feel yourself rise up, rolling the shoulder heads back in space. And as you do that, notice how you feel a little bit more of a stretch in that sacral area. Breath in and out. One more inhale here. Exhale, press back to child's pose. Now, because we're going to be moving back and forth between those poses, I have my knees just kind of hip width distance apart right now. Deep inhale. Exhale, and roll it through. Sometimes we'll have our knees a little bit wider in child's pose, but now we are right where we need to be for our cobra, our upward facing dog. And you can always have your elbows bent a little bit more if that's feeling too much too soon. Inhale. Exhale, send the hips back. Let's do that one more time. One breath at the bottom. Inhale. Exhale, roll it forward, rounding the spine. Really draw those shoulders back, thighs can stay on the mat. And exhale. Ooh, I felt a little pop there. Enjoy this child's pose here. We'll stay here a couple breaths. So we're easing our way into our challenge, but don't you worry, it will start soon. And to take a full stop with the body first, so we can really be aware of what the body's doing throughout the practice. Deep breath here. And exhale. We'll find our tabletop position again. I'm going to start to add a little bit more heat to the body here. Let's one at a time, we're going to lift our right arm forward, a little spinal balance, and take it down. Left arm lifts, inhale. Exhale, set it down. Inhale, this time it's the right leg that goes just straight out, no higher than the hip. Let's pull it in, and it's the left leg right behind you. Let's set that down. Now you know where we're going. So it's about 1 breath per movement, reaching up, down. You might be moving a little slower or even a little faster than me. It's not a race. The goal here is to just really tune in to what's happening in the abdominals, to wake them up, and to focus on keeping the hips level even as our limbs are changing where they are in space. So this is actually core work. Even though our torso is staying in one place, we have a stability challenge that's so good for it. All right, last one. Setting it down. Now let's step your right leg back, hands stay exactly where they are. So you're gonna tuck your toes. We're going to scoop as we find a little pike here and then press the hips back. As we do that, we take the knee up towards the ceiling and then we move forward back into that pike, the knees lift, and set it down. Let's try that again. So, 4-part movement, we lift, press back, and then downward dog of sorts. Find your plank again, knee pulls in, and tap it down to the ground. Let's do that 2 more times. Lift, push the ground away. Inhale back to your down dog. Hold your plank, cover the knee. Set it down. 1 more time, please, on this side. Lift. Find your length in the back of the right leg. Knee comes higher. Hold your plank and set it down. Fabulous. Let's take the little child's pose before we do side 2. I always like to lift the wrist up to the sky. Just relieving any tension that might have built up in them. If you'd like to set your head down on the mat, you certainly may. Notice your breath maybe being a little bit fuller and heavier. Your heart beating just a touch faster. Hands come down. Are you ready for side 2? So let's see, we'll set our left leg back in space. Feel a nice stretch already. As we tuck those toes, we feel the back of that leg, especially the calf lengthening, a little bit of strength in that quad. All right, so we're gonna scoop the knee in towards the belly. So we do have a little bit of a ground already here in the spine, even though our shoulders are over our wrists. And then send the left heel down. Knee comes as high as it cares to today without opening. Today we are going to keep the hips squared towards the mat. We'll hold that plank position that we came from and then set that knee all the way down. That makes a big difference, doesn't it? Lifting and lowering the knee. All right, friends, let's lift. Stretch it back. Pull it in. Slowly with control. Set it down. 1 more time. Lift. Press everything back. Hips stay square. Shoulders stay square. Pull it back in. And set it down. Lovely. Again, this time maybe a wide leg child's pose. We're going to find child's pose again. This time maybe taking the palms together. Lift them up towards the nape of your neck and feel your elbows pressing into the mat. Palms pressed together. And lastly, shoulders move away from the ears. Find just some touch of stillness here to recover from that effort. Effort is good, but we don't want to stay stuck in constant motion. Making it harder and harder to find stillness. And all we're doing is rushing, hurrying, pushing, and striding. Pull the shoulders melt down a little bit more. When the ribs pressing the inner thighs as they get more spaciousness in them. 3 more deep breaths here. Take our breath in and out of our nose if that feels okay. Last breath here. Now you guys feel you can turn your arms forward, pressing hands back underneath your chest. Push yourself up, back into a seated or a middle position. And we're going to start to move through with a little bit more of a flow. So let's take our hands and find a downward facing dog. And since this is our first kind of normal down dog of the day, let's just take a moment here to explore what the backs of those legs are doing. Making sure that the toes are evenly distributed on the mat. Gripping onto the ground. I don't care how low those heels go today. I care that you're feeling a little bit of light in the back of those calves. Still breathing, maybe in and out through the nose. Reach out your breath. Come to neutral. And then we're going to scrunch back into our bear pose. I feel like I'm a little bit wide here, so I'm going to walk my hands in just a touch. So with our bear pose, our knees bend. And we also press the hips back as though we were in a down dog with bent knees. So chest is coming towards the thighs. And then we're going to spring forward. As we do that, that right foot steps to the outside of our hand, maybe still on our mat. We're going to reach up at a nice little revolved lunge here. We're going to take these first couple ones nice and slow. And then coming down, ideally on the top of your thigh rather than onto the kneecap, untuck those toes. You're going to reach back, if it's available, towards your back hamstring. Now, if your low back's tight, of course, you can wrap your forearm around it instead. Maybe finding a touch of a back bend here. If not, no worries. Deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, hand comes down. Other hand comes down. Toes tucked behind you. We're going to then just go straight back into our down. Well, actually not open our down dog. Hips come high. We're going to go back to that bear pose. But let's do that on the other side. So left leg springs forward. As the shoulders come over the wrists, we reach up, find that nice rotation. And then, again, be careful as we untuck our toes to come above our kneecap. Reaching up and back. Couple breaths here. Last inhale. Exhale, right hand comes down. Spin the left hand down. Back toes tuck. And then shoot back to that bear pose. So let's do that again. This left time is the right leg. I'm already feeling a little bit of quadricep action there. Open through the chest. Back leg down to the ground. Those hands switch. Find a little bit of balance there, still on the mat, even though we're low. Exhale, windmill those arms, tuck the toes, reach back, find your bear pose. Left side. Rotate first, knee is high, leg is active. And then we intentionally set it down. Switch arms on top. Reach for that hamstring or the low back. Deep inhale. Exhale. Set the hands down. Tuck the back toes first. Tighter bear pose. Great shoulder stretch. We're also strengthening those thighs. And then one more time each side. Rotate up. Really straighten that back leg as best you can. Drop it down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Hands find the mat right underneath your shoulders. Tuck the toes. Bend the knees deeply. Last time on the left. Whoops. Reach it up. Bring the back of the knee more towards the sky. Drop down. Inhale, back bend. Exhale, bring the arms down. This time, step back into your plank pose. So shoulders are going to stay over the wrists. 5. Heating your breaths here. Feel everything strong, sturdy, powerful. Last 2 breaths here. Good, this time, right leg steps to the right, but we're also going to step the left foot outside the left hand. So my toes a little wider than my heels. I'm going to start to sink down into my garland pose. I can always put a block underneath me if this doesn't feel so good on the knees or the hips. And just start to slide side to side if that feels okay on everything. Stillness is a great option here too. Returning to that fluid breath pattern if you have found yourself having to focus a little bit more on maintaining longer breaths. It might feel a little bit more natural here. And extending your arms long, elbows all the back. Walk the hands in. You're going to lift the hips up towards the ceiling, so you're kind of a wide turnout. And then send the toes parallel. Let's bend into the right knee. And then bend into the left knee. Again, hands can be on a block. And then both knees bend. We're going to peel up one bone at a time. Perfect. Let's step the weight into the left leg. The right leg extends behind you, but as you do that, let's try to avoid arching into the back. Let's pull the ribs a little bit more towards the hips. And we're going to start to play with flexing the foot, hands come to the hips, and then ever so slightly just tipping forward. Now, I want you to feel so long from the crown of your head to the heel of your foot that I'd rather you just tip forward a couple of inches and focus on that length. Then come down too far that you're rounding the spine, or losing that integrity. And then keep the foot up as you rise back up to standing. Let's sweep the knee in. You're going to grab hold of the knee and then start to open up. So I'm just going to turn to face you so you can see a little bit better. You're going to open that knee out to the side, and that opposite hand comes out for balance. Good. You might be doing the opposite side as me because I was just perpendicular to you. That's okay. Lovely. And then you're gonna, whatever knee you're doing, you're gonna bring it into the middle. The free hand wraps around, and then depending on your balance today, let's reach behind you with that other hand. I'm feeling a little bit wobbly today. That's okay. And we're gonna come back to the center, and then I'm going to show you again from the side. As you come down, you're going to wrap it behind you and just take a nice, beautiful side stretch. Maybe the free hand reaches for the wrist, giving it a beautiful little pull or assist. Again, if you feel like you're flaring in the ribs, pull them a little bit closer to your pubic bone. Maybe play with the placement of your chin. And then enjoy your breath. And let's take the feet parallel once again. Sweep the arms up on the inhale. Exhale, take your hands behind you. Interlace the fingers. Let's find a nice chest opening here. Bend deeply into the knees. Whew, hands are sweating a little bit, so I gotta get my grip here again. Let the head go, but keep it bent in the knees. Stay tension in the neck, opening up in those shoulders. And my fingertips felt like they wanted to slip apart here, so if yours are doing that, feel free. Don't fight it. Sink down a little bit lower. Take the big toes together. We're going to find our chair pose. Sweep a little bit lower as you take the hands back. Rise all the way up. Hands to heart center. Lovely. Let's find our warrior three on the other side. So the other leg, in this case, my left leg, sweeps behind. And again, I put a flex in the foot, but I try to avoid opening the ribs and close them towards the heel, even if that means I don't go down very far today. So today I'm just going to kind of demo a really small range of motion because I want you to focus on that beautiful length in the spine. See how my chest is open, my hip is down. If you like to go further and are used to going further into your warrior three, feel free. But we want to work on our foundations here if this movement is into you. Finding my balance today is hard. That's okay. It's working nonetheless. And then could you keep the foot lifted to draw the knee into your chest, find a moment here. The hand can come to the outside. Maybe the free hand out for balance. And then that knee opens, opening the hip as it goes. Good. As we come center, we prepare to hand off to the other hand. And then the hand that had been on the leg starts to open up behind you, thumb on top. Breathing once again. Find length in your spine. Come to the center. Let's set that foot down with control. Amazing. And then sweep that foot behind you. Find a nice little side stretch. Breathe into the side ribs. Pull that shoulder furthest away from me down. Good, let's find those feet together once again. Sweep the arms up, this time interlacing the hands the less natural feeling way. One hand naturally wants to go on top. We're gonna extend our chest this time, lifting up into just the slightest little back bend. So it can be very, very small, and that's okay. We're still opening that chest. Roll the shoulders back. Breathe. Rounding down through the feet. Release that interlace. Draw your ribs over your hip points again, and then melt forward. So hands can graze your thighs, graze the ground. You can keep the knees as bent as you'd like. If you're feeling a little warmer though, feel free to take them straighter, but you certainly never have to. And maybe we find a little ragdoll here as well. You can enjoy that simple feeling of gravity pulling the crown of your head closer to the ground. Or you can sway back and forth if you like. Placing your hands towards the floor if it's available, or a block if it's not. You're going to start to take your right leg back, and then see if you can line up your front big toe with your back big toe. You're always welcome to have a block under your hand here, or a book or something to prop you up. And then think about pulling your left hip back and your right hip forward in our pyramid pose. The back of the neck is long. You're finding a steady breath pattern. And you'll find that that left hip probably wants to pop forward, so keep thinking about bringing it back and squaring those hips off towards the front edge of your mat. And lengthen the back of the left leg. Beautiful. And then place your right hand down. You can still be on fingertips if the ground feels far away from you. And we're just going to pull the elbow in as we find a tiny rotation here. But again, notice if that left hip moves back or forward and try to move it back to the back edge of your mat. Lift that top shoulder. Breathe. Excellent. Let's bring that arm forward. And then we're going to rock forward. Melt it down, bend the knees greatly if you'd like. Perfect, hands come down. Bump that left foot back a couple feet, depending on your height. And then again, that right hip wants to move more towards the right edge of your mat, but try to see what happens when you pull it further back. You'll find a little bit more intensity in that stretch. Find your breath. Exhale through the nose. And then start to take right elbow up towards the ceiling. Fingertips can graze the ribs. Pull that hip back in space. Open up that shoulder. One more breath. Sweep the arm forward. Set it down. Step both feet in. Sink your hips down. Lift up onto your tippy toes. Hug your knees into your chest. And then start to rock back into your boat pose. And we're going to peel down one bone at a time. And feet come down. Beautiful. From here, feet walking just a little bit closer to the hips. Take the hands by the side. You're going to gently move the hips, making sure that the inner feet are pressing into the mat just as much as the outside edge of the feet. Find some breath here. Inhale, open the arms, palms face up. Exhale, close it down as you lift the hips even higher. Inhale, reach arms overhead. Exhale, close. One more like that with the hips staying level. And then this time, drop your hips as your hands come down onto the mat. Catch your breath. Maybe hug your knees into your chest for a moment here. Great, step the right foot down, the left foot down. This time, you're going to stretch your arms overhead as the hips lift off the mat. And same thing in reverse, you're gonna rainbow those arms down as the hips come down ever so slowly. The hips don't have quite as far to go, so they can go a little slower. Inhale, stretch it up. Exhale. One more inhale. And exhale. Lovely. Let's cross your right ankle over your left thigh. You're welcome to stay here, or for a little more intensity, you can reach behind the hamstring or even the front of the shin. Putting a little flex in that right foot can help protect the knee. Making sure we still have the base of the tailbone pressing towards the mat. So in other words, we're not peeling off the mat, which can kind of start to decrease the benefit. Finding length in the spine, a nice stretch on the outside of the seat. Back of the neck is long. Returning to those slow, clear, even breaths if you've lost them. And then unlegging your hands, we're gonna keep the shape of the legs. And whatever foot's on top, so my right foot is on top, I'm gonna grab hold of that shin and start to gently guide the shape of the legs down to the floor. I like to hold onto the ankle here. I feel a nice stretch outside of the hip, the low back, around the waist. Trying to maintain both shoulders on the ground. Noticing how the deeper you breathe, the more of a stretch you're going to get over those ribs. One more breath here, please. Exhale completely. Good, and then to come out of it, let's just pull one knee into the chest and the other. Find some little leg circles here, or knee circles. Take it to the other side, other direction. When you're ready, that right foot is going to come down to the ground, your opposite foot is going to come over. And see if side 2 feels the same as side 1. It could be here if we like, or here, just so long as we're sitting that tailbone long so we can lengthen the spine. And see if your shoulders are trying to jump around you, see if you can send them back. If your chin is jutting out so you can see behind you, see if you can look straight at the ceiling. Breathing in and out through the nose. Let that foot go, and then help guide that knee over to the side for pigeon low back stretch here. Breathing deeply into the space underneath the ribs, into the low back, into the groin area. Pressing the shoulders down. And that beautiful tension here between release and control. One more full breath in and out. Inhale as you start to uncross the leg. Exhale, just press that knee up to the midline. Second knee comes with. And then start to slide one foot at a time down onto the mat, and then all the way down to the ground if that feels okay. So I'm a little bit low in my mat, just so you can see what's going on. I'm going to scoot back a little bit. Starting to shift the hips underneath you. Maybe wiggle one hip higher than the other. Let go of any last remaining bits of tension and effort. Palms lie open. Deep inhale, exhale. Just feel yourself releasing of all effort and tension. Time for focus and control is coming to an end. Now we start to get to receive the beautiful work we've done for our body. Just turning our attention less about what our body is doing and what movements are happening within the body, and more so just noticing the breath as it comes in and enters and exits. Noticing the quality of the breath. Noticing the quality of the body, maybe a little bit transformed from quality that you came into class with. And noticing the quality of the mind. Taking one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. And a little bit more at peace with yourself, a little bit more with your body's friend. Releasing hold of that, withdraw one knee into the chest and then the other. Give yourself a nice little hug, send a tailbone away. Rolling gently to one side, use the strength of your arms, no rush to pick yourself up into a seated position, whatever is comfortable for you at this time. We'll take a moment to feel grounded. Proud of ourselves for making the right choice for our body today, the right choice for our brains, the right choice for our spirits. It's always a good idea to come into mindful movement to help reset our mindset, reset how we feel in our bodies. Let's take a hand to heart center. I'm really glad you honored your body today. Sometimes it's that perfect balance of discipline and release that is just what is needed. So thank you for working on both of those today. I can't wait to see you next time. Namaste. Namaste. Thanks again. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't already so that you can join me for future bar, yoga, Pilates workouts, as well as meditations and strength work. And if you'd like more mindful movement similar to this, I invite you to take my 7-day reset. I normally charge for this challenge, the 7-day challenge, but because you did this class with me, I'd love to offer it to you for free. So you can click on the link in the description below to let me know where to email you that coupon code. And it's just a really lovely mix of some days are more active, some are more passive. We combine the best